Hello, sir.
Hey.
Can I interest you in some questions?
Sure.
What is your view on domestic violence?
It's not good.
What are some things you think we can prevent it?
Locking everyone up.
Really?
The only way it's gonna stop.
Okay. Have you witnessed or seen or heard anything about domestic violence?
Nope.
What is domestic violence?
I don't know.
What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is the willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and/or other abusive behavior as part of a systematic pattern of power and control perpetrated by one intimate partner against another. It includes physical violence, sexual violence, psychological violence, and emotional abuse. The frequency and severity of domestic violence can vary dramatically. However, the one constant component of domestic violence is one partner's consistent efforts to maintain power and control over the other.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jamison. I'd like to ask you some questions about domestic violence.
Okay.
What is your take on domestic violence?
I think that domestic violence is wrong. I think that too many women and men are subjected to domestic violence, and I think that mostly it affects children. And it's hard to get out of. It is really hard. In California, I think they make it very hard for them to get out of that situation.
Very good answer. Next question. Do you know anyone that has experienced domestic violence?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
How do they deal with it?
I think the biggest thing is that they don't know anything that's different, so they have a really hard time getting away from it, and there's definitely regrets, I think, from both sides of people that I know that have experienced domestic violence, but I think that when the home becomes so violent, Texas college girlfriend, that took a while, that it's not a good situation for anyone to be in.
What should be the automatic punishment for domestic violence? It should be
Well, obviously, no matter what in the state of California, the parties go to jail, whether there are marks on them or not. The thing that bothers me is it's not just physical domestic violence, it's also verbal domestic violence, and I think that's just as harmful. And that sucks because there's no evidence of that most of the time. So that is equally as damaging. But I think that I don't know what would be an appropriate thing. I mean, obviously jail is one thing, but then I think that at some point, once or twice, like that those people should not be allowed to live together, period.
Thank you for your time.
Men are victims of nearly 3 million physical assaults in the U.S. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence during her lifetime. No victim is to blame for any occurrence of domestic abuse or violence. While there is no direct cause or explanation why domestic violence happens, it is caused by the abuser or perpetrator. Domestic violence is most likely to take place between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. More than 60% of domestic violence incidents happen at home. Domestic violence is the third leading cause of homelessness among families according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. At least 1/3 of families using New York City's family shelter system are homeless due to domestic violence. Women ages 18 to 34 are at greatest risk of becoming victims of domestic violence.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to an amazing interview by Brianna Byrne. Welcome. Hello, Brianna. What is your take on domestic violence?
I think domestic violence is a big cause or a big problem everywhere. It's kind of overlooked. That's fine.
Do you know anyone that has experienced domestic violence, and how do they deal with it?
Yes, I do, and let's see. They kind of. Stop! You're making me feel so awkward.
It's okay, just keep on talking to the camera. We're all here, we're all friends. Keep going.
The person I know that had dealt with domestic violence, she got help from her church, and she kind of got help through that. That's what I know.
I feel like church is a good option. Okay. How can domestic violence be prevented?
Probably making sure that you're not putting yourself in situations where you know you could be hurt.
Okay. What do you think the overall punishment should be for domestic violence? Like an automatic punishment?
Obviously jail, and then for certain things probably. I think that we should do some type of like you know, there's like anger management and stuff like that. Maybe something like that.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Brianna. Awesome round here. Domestic violence.
Yeah.
Don't be a victim. Seek help with friends and family, 24-hour hotlines for advice and guidance, shelters where you and your children can stay temporarily, support groups where you can talk to other people in the same situation, legal advice to guide you if you wish to separate or to get a restraining order, medical and mental health professionals who can care for your physical and emotional wounds, religious leaders who can support and counsel you.
I'm with my mom, Barbara, to talk about domestic violence. What's your take on domestic violence?
It's a hard subject for me because I've had domestic violence done to me. No one should put their hands on another person.
Okay. How did you deal with it?
You just have to learn to cope with it, I guess. I mean, what's done is done. I can't take it back. He can't take it back. You just gotta put your foot down and walk away from it. Because once they do it, they're gonna keep doing it. And that's what I had to do, walk away.
So is that an option to prevent domestic violence, or what can someone do that's involved in domestic violence? What's their options?
Don't stay. Because like I said, it's just gonna continue to happen if you keep letting it. And the only way to just protect yourself and your kids is to walk away or have them go to jail. And even then, people say they learn from it and they don't.
Okay, what should the overall automatic punishment be for domestic violence?
I mean, of course there's jail time and everything, but like I said, maybe counseling, maybe not so much a counseling where they have to go by the courts or whatever. It's maybe something a little bit one-on-one counseling so they can learn why they get angry, and because you have to go to a group counseling with court, and it's just a bunch of low-life people in there, and you're not learning anything. You're just going because you have to go every day, every week to get the court off your butt, but they don't learn from it. So I think one-on-one counseling to figure out why they get so angry, where they have to take it out on someone else.